My name is Jeremy Pahl. I was born in Prince Rupert and I belong to the Gitga'at nation. So the project itself, just from a logical standpoint, it does not sound feasible because of the track record that the company has with spills in the past. We've been to Kalamazoo, we've got Exxon Valdez, and all these extremely destructive impacts on the environments that Enbridge has worked with in the past. So, even speaking from a logical perspective, the company has not had a very good past, and I don't see them having a very good future as well. And for me personally, the tanker traffic would be going through the Douglas Channel, which runs right past Hartley Bay, which is the home village of my family. And that community, if there was a spill, there would be no community left because we sustain off of the surroundings. And with an oil spill, everything in that ecosystem would be gone. And it would not only be just Hartley Bay. I'm not speaking like as if it's directly impacting me that I care. It would be all over BC, this project. There's so much potential for disaster, and so many nations that are along this pipeline route that are small and relatively self-sustaining communities off of the sacred headwaters, for example. And that goes all the way from where I'm from in Tsimshian territory all the way down here to Claytley Tenay and everything in between. And then you've got the cultural side of this, whereas without the land and without the water, we can't continue to practice our culture because culture comes from the land. Spirituality comes from the land. We don't have these things. We can't just sit down and learn it from a book. You just go out and you do it. And if there was a spill, be difficult to maintain cultural revitalization, which is a integral movement right now for us, especially as young Indigenous people, to be participating in revitalizing our culture and continuing it and learning the language and all of this. That's another thing too, is the language comes from the land. That would be affected because you can't just, again, it's just like so much of our language speaks to our culture and the land and the way that we have our ancestors have gathered food and medicines and everything like that, and ceremony. And without the territory that it speaks to, there's a disconnection there, and it can't be. Enbridge just can't go through, and I don't foresee it going through, and we won't back down from, if we have to assert our rights to our indigenous lands, which that's another thing. Oh, you got me on a rant here. Unceded territory in BC. This is not legal to have this project go through. So many traditional territories. It's not. There's so many nations that have not yet signed on to treaty or are in like step 1 or 2 of the process, which is it's a very, very lengthy process. So, in order for it to be even to be thought about, this project is you got to have the land issue settled. You got to have that settled. Got to have our sovereignty, and that's just that. It's just And the tankers. So the tankers are the size of the Empire State Building or something like that. Ridiculous trying to navigate that through the Douglas Channel and all these narrow channels that are along the coast, surrounded by enormous coastal mountains. It really, from a mariner's perspective, I'm not a mariner, but people have been talking about this back in Hartley Bay, is that it does not make sense. They would be having the tankers go all year round, regardless of weather and everything like that. Whereas if the people with fishing boats and stuff like that, when there's bad weather, you turn around. These tankers would be not turning around. They would be continuing on and risking crashing, just like the Queen of the North did. The Queen of the North sunk. It's a dangerous place to navigate through for big ships. It's just as simple as that. And 90-degree turns, like I heard that instead of slowing down for these 90-degree turns, they would be going full thrust. They would increase from 12 knots to 19 knots. Like, are you insane? Do you think? Oh, it's mind-blowing how illogical and just unfeasible the whole project is. And yeah, that's about all I have to say.